हेलो फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम बैक टू माय यूट्यूब चैनल जेसिका रजोरिया। आज की वीडियो में हम पढ़ने वाले हैं सिस्टर कैरी नोवेल, जो है एक अमेरिकन नोवेल। तो गाइस स्टार्ट करते हैं। सिस्टर कैरी 1900 is a novel by Theodore Dreiser about a young woman who moves to the big city where she starts realizing her own American dreams. She first becomes a mistress to men and that she perceives as superior, but later becomes a famous actress. It has been called the greatest of all American urban novels. Sister Carrie, first edition 1900. The publishers kept the cover intentionally bland in order not to promote what was expected to be a controversial work. ऑथर हैं इसके थियोडोर ड्रेसर, कंट्री यूनाइटेड स्टेट, लैंग्वेज है इंग्लिश, जेनर लिटरेरी रियलिज्म, सेट इन शिकागो, न्यूयॉर्क सिटी एंड मॉन्ट्रियल, 1889-93। पब्लिशर है इसके डबल डे पेज, पब्लिकेशन डेट 1900। प्लॉट समरी है इसकी। इन लेट 1889, dissatisfied with life in Columbia City, Wisconsin, 18 years old Caroline Meber, sister Carrie to her family, takes the train to Chicago to live with her older sister Minnie and Minnie's husband. On the train, Carrie meets Charles Drought, a traveling salesman who is attracted to her because of her simple beauty and unspoiled manner. They exchange contact information, but upon discovering the steady round of toil and somber atmosphere at her sister's flat, she writes to Drought and discourages him from calling on her there. Carrie soon finds a job running a machine in a shoe factory and gives most of her meager salary to the Hansons for room and board. One day, after an illness costs her job, she encounters Drought. He persuades her to leave her dull, constricted life and move in with him to press his case. He slips Carrie to $10 bills, opening a vista of material possibilities to her. The next day, he rebuffs her feeble attempts to return the money and retain her virtue, taking her shopping at a Chicago department store and buying her a jacket and some shoes. That night, she moves in with him. Drought installs her in a much nicer apartment. She gradually sets her provincial mannerisms. By the time he introduced her to George Hertzwood, the manager of Fitzgerald and Moyes, a respectable bar that Drought describes as a way-up swell place. Her material appearance has improved considerably. Hertzwood, a married man with a social climbing wife, a 20 years old son, and a 17 years old daughter, becomes infatuated with Carrie, and before long they start an affair, meeting secretly while Drought is away on a business trip. One night, Drought casually agrees to find an actress to play Laura in an amateur theatrical presentation of Augustine Daly's melodrama Under the Gaslight for his local chapter of the Elks. He encourages a hesitant Carrie to take the part. Carrie turns out to have acting talent, and her ambition is born. Initially, she falls victim to stage fright, but drought encouragement between acts enables her to give a fine performance that not only rivets the audience attention, in it inflames Hertzwood's passion, and he decides to take Carrie away from Drought. The next day, Drought finds out about the affair, while Hertzwood's wife Julia learns that Hertzwood has been seen with another woman. Hertzwood makes advances, and when Carrie asks if he will marry her, he says yes. Later, Drought confronts Carrie and informs her that Hertzwood is married, then walks out on her. After a night of drinking and despairing at his now emboldened wife demand and Carrie's reaction later, Hertzwood finds that the safe in Fitzgerald and Moy's offices has accidentally been left unlocked. When he inadvertently advertently locks the safe after taking the money out, he drunkenly panics and steals the day's proceeds, more than $10,000, under the false pretext of Drought's sudden illness. He lures Carrie onto a train and takes her to Canada. In Montreal, Hertzwood is found by a private investigator. He returns most of the stolen funds to avoid prosecution. Hertzwood mollifies Carrie by arranging a marriage ceremony, though he is still married to Julia, and the couple move to New York City. They rent a flat when they live as George and Carrie Wheeler. Hertzwood buys a minority interest in a saloon and at first is able to provide Carrie with an adequate, if not lavish, lifestyle. The couple grow distant, however, as their finances do not improve much. Carrie's dissatisfaction only increases when she makes friends with a new neighbor, Mrs. Vance, whose husband is prosperous. Through Mrs. Vance, Carrie meets Robert Ames, a bright young scholar from Indiana and her neighbor's cousin. who introduced her to the idea the great art rather than showy materialism is worthy of admiration. After only a few years, the saloon's landlord sells the property, and Hertzwood's business partner decides to terminate the partnership. Too proud to accept any of the limited job opportunities available to him, Hertzwood watches his savings dwindle. He argue he asks Carrie to economize, which she finds humiliating and distasteful as Hertzwood gradually sinks into apathy. Carrie becomes a chorus girl through her good looks, while he deteriorates further. She rises from the chorus line to small roles. Her performance as a minor, non-speaking character, a frowning Quakeress, greatly amuses the audience and makes the play a hit. She is befriended by another chorus girl, Lola Osborne, who asks Carrie to become her roommate. In a final attempt to earn money, Hertzwood becomes a cab driving a Brooklyn streetcar during a streetcar operator's strike. His ill-fated venture lasts only 2 days, ending after a couple of violent encounters with the strikers. Carrie, unaware of Hertzwood's reason for quitting, leaves him. Hertzwood ultimately becomes one of the homeless of New York, taking odd jobs, falling ill with pneumonia, and finally becoming a beggar. He ultimately commits suicide in a flop house. Carrie achieves stardom but finds that even with fame and fortune, she is lonely and unhappy. She is lonely and unhappy.